Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we revisit George Van Tassel. This is the guy that was given the formula for time travel by aliens. I'm joined by a special guest via Skype, Sharid Hall, and we take this farther in depth. Stay tuned on Talk is Cheap. Talk is cheap, where cheap is talk, and talk is cheap. I am Dan Holfeld. Today, we're going to discuss the Integratron again. Now, we covered this before in an earlier episode of Talk is Cheap. This was episode 23, we covered it. It was actually brought to my attention by one of my viewers, and actually, I got him on Skype right now. Sharid Hall. Sharid, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thank you, Dan, for the opportunity.
Not a problem. So, what really intrigued me, we talked on the phone. This is an episode that I had actually aired, and I looked at the time when it was published, November 15th. So that's over a good year ago. What intrigued me about when we were talking on the phone is you said you think you can get this thing to work.
Yeah, with help with some other people, not by myself. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that actually think that too.
Awesome. So, what did you bring to the table to make sense out of this whole thing? Because obviously it has something to do with just easy, how do we say it? Easy resonance, right?
I would say this machine, I mean, it what it's supposed to do is rejuvenate the body through all the way through to your cell structure. And yeah, it's a resonance vibration, just like I'm sure you've heard, or maybe you haven't, how everything in the universe is held together by vibration. And this machine utilizes that aspect and, helps rejuvenate the human body, they say.
Yeah, tone and sound. And I got a timeline. They have it on the Integratron. I got to get that word right, on their website. So 1953, he's contacted by the aliens, and the aliens came down and said, his name was Salganda. They said they're from a different planet. Right. Here's the technology. Or then they gave him the equation.
The specs.
The equation. Well, what was it? F
equals 1/T.
Yeah. So then he starts building this thing, 1957 and 1977. No screws. It's mostly wood, and I guess that wire is what does all the conducting. Right. And then, of course, he passes away on February 9th, 1978. And, of course, it does say his notes, diagrams disappeared from the property shortly after his death and not having surfaced to date. His FBI file is still classified.
Ooh.
Convenient.
Right. That's how it always happens. Even the structure underneath, the bottom half of this machine, was actually taken apart as well and disappeared.
Oh, so there was actually more. What was down there? Did you know?
Well, if you pull up some of the pictures that we have, is right in the middle, that big pole. I believe that right there was where the Tesla coil was. Okay. And that was what held up the structure, kind of.
So it wrapped around this.
Wrapped around. Yeah. Yeah. So right now, what you're seeing right there is just pretty much all wood underneath. And I don't know if the viewers will be able to see, but there's actually copper wiring right there in an inner circle. Yeah, right there. That is kind of like the part that, I don't know, that would send the waves up to the top if you were standing up in the top.
The thing that this reminds me of, and I always wear it all the time, is this EMF bracelet. Now, I got the copper wires that wrap around. They go in a complete circle. I know I was reading about the Sikorsky that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and he says that they don't connect. But this is supposed to block cell phone and Wi-Fi so it doesn't damage your cells.
Right. Those are actually, I didn't know you had one of those things. They're negative ion bracelets. There's many different versions of them. And they're supposed to, I guess, negative ions is what it helps the body in some way. And, with those bracelets, some companies are actually fake. Some out there have 2,000. They put out 2,000 something. I don't know what the terminology is. 2,000 negative ions in just one bracelet. And as we get further into this, the Georges Lakhovsky guy, he actually first came up with the idea of those bracelets. You could wear them around your neck, your wrist, your ankles, your waist, and it would help with chronic pain or something like that.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it works. I mean, it could be placebo, but I feel like I feel more rejuvenated. I've had it on for over a year because I noticed watching this, the video we did a year ago, I had it on there, so I've been wearing it for quite a while.
Yeah, I believe they work 100%. It's proven, as we'll talk about it, that they work.
So we got, I guess you're kind of leading this. What are we looking at next?
Well, let's just kind of focus on the structure itself up here. Let's click on some of these photos. Right there, the one that you got highlighted, that's the outer ring. Now, I've seen a video online where that's supposed to actually spin. And if you take that into consideration, that spin, I believe, causes, when these waves are isolating up, you know what I mean, and going into that top part of the dome, if that thing's spinning, I believe that creates like a vortex, okay, in which I'm not sure if you're too familiar with, like, or even if you believe in chakras or the body's energy. Some of those photos back here, if you click off that, and like any one of those ones with the magnetic field around the human body, yeah, let's show that one. Yeah, that right there, that's like a vortex. It's not just going up and around, it's actually spinning. They call that a torus. And as you can see, there's the one coming from your heart, and then there's the one that your body does. Okay, so that spinning vortex that's around your body, the machine, the Integratron, or however you pronounce it, that picture actually right there, it was in a video. Okay, it zooms out, and that's actually the guy standing in the Integratron.
Oh, okay.
That's him right in the middle. Yeah.
The upper deck, if you will.
Yes, the upper deck. Yeah, so that's what that is, and that's the torus right there. That shows you the spinning motion. The blue is from the bottom, and it kind of goes inward, and the red is from the top, and it goes outward. So
this reminds me of
in unisex.
When we did the Hollow Earth episode with Pete, like how we did the water and it spins. It does the exact same thing like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how, that's like the structure of everything in the universe. I mean, it gets down into, the quantum world, and it goes all the way to as big as the universe. So this machine right here, the Integratron, that's what I call it. I wouldn't even begin to attempt how you said it. I mean, I know that's what the computer says. I can't do that. But yeah, I mean, this thing, one thing I wanted to point out is that his death in 58, we said, or 78, sorry. It was, some sources say it was a couple weeks before it was fully done. Others say it was 3 months before it was completed. But either way, the government or whoever didn't want it out. You know what I mean? They knew it worked due to prior inventions from that Georges Lakhovsky guy I was just mentioning a little bit ago, which he invented the multiple wave oscillator. I'm sure some of your viewers will know what that is, and that's a picture actually of the ring that you were just showing of the multiple wave oscillator.
So these don't, it's critical that these don't connect, right?
Absolutely. If you could tell the center ring, see, it's kind of like a horseshoe shape, and then the next ring, it's upside down, and then the ring after that, it's right side up, and then the ring after that, they alternate. Going. It took me a minute to figure that out, but
yeah, I didn't catch it right away either. So are you saying that's what these wires are, the same way?
No, it doesn't look like it. It just looks like solid copper wiring going around the center there in the Integratron. So I don't know if it's separated or if it's a necessity for the construction of this multiple wave oscillator.
Yeah, it just looks like a big giant like spider web like gets stuck up there in the
Right.
ceiling.
Yeah, definitely. But George Van Tassel, he actually got the idea from Georgy Slakovsky. So, I mean, and he was a pretty smart guy, too. And not only that, supposedly he got the directions from the extraterrestrial or their other race of beings
So he
from
gave
Venus.
these extraterrestrials gave him more than just the equation, because I was kind of only under the impression that he had the equation from them.
Some sources say that, you know, they gave him the directions on how to build it. So, I mean, it's all speculation. I mean, they could have gave him the formula. I believe that formula was for time travel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, was it force over
Frequency equals 1 over time.
There you go. That's right. It's been a while.
I love that interview too, because Jack kind of like grills him that way, and I just, you know, you can tell he's like trying to, like, because people want to get the bullshit out right away, and it's like you can tell Van Tassel's genuine. I can tell that guy's not lying. That's genuine to me.
Yeah, and what I really liked about that interview is they were asking the tough questions. Every question, you know how you see some things nowadays, and they ask questions, and you're like, man, why don't you ask them this? You need to ask him this. What is his answer for that? When they were asking those hard questions, and yeah, he was coming right back, you know, like with no problem. Like, yeah, this is what it is. This is what it does. And what do you got else?
Yep.
Yeah, this website here, they go into detail on, you know, what the machine does, and also that you can actually, they talk about how they built it and what's all included with it. And at the bottom of the website, you can actually submit your information to buy one. You know, there's a couple websites where you can buy different versions. This one right here, with some of these pictures, you have it's standing on a metal pole. You got the Tesla coil right there with the spark gap connected to the rings. This one looks better than most of the other ones. The other ones, the pole it sits on is PVC piping. This one looks pretty genuine, and they actually even designed it to only put out a certain voltage.
So that hangs off on the back. And then what do you do? Do you stand in between these two, or how does this work?
You can stand, you can sit. You know, they look adjustable. It looks like you can, you know, raise them up and down, and you hit certain key points.
And then it's supposed to heal you.
Yeah. Get into that a little bit. Your cells on a good day, you know, well, first let's talk about what the cells of the body do. You know, they fight off disease, they fight off bacteria, viruses, things like that. And when your cells get bombarded, let's just say with cancer or something, and your cells can't fight it off, then your immune system kicks in. And then once your immune system kicks in, obviously something like cancer, it's not going to be able to fight it off. So your cells on a good day pump out, I believe I was reading up on in my research, 70 millihertz or something like that, or millivolts. Something similar to that, 70 something. Okay. I'm no expert at this stuff.
None of us are.
But right. But this machine right here on this website is actually programmed to do in the range of 50 and 70 and no more. Okay. And
this must be the range right here.
Right. That's like that's the frequency generator right there. And once you turn it on, you know, it creates the different frequencies, which I went so far in the rabbit hole with this that I started thinking, you know, of sacred geometry, you know, certain shapes. You know, you have the flower of life. You know, what if, because I'm sure you've seen videos where they vibrate sand with certain frequencies and it forms a certain pattern.
No, I haven't seen that. No, I'll have to bring that up.
Oh my. Yeah, it's pretty sick. What they do is they take sand and they have a frequency generator hooked up to some speakers, and then they turn the frequencies up to different frequencies, and it forms different shapes, like sacred geometry shapes. And I was going as far as thinking that maybe certain shapes actually heal different parts of your body. You know what I mean? Or something like that. But this, just the basic machinery itself is supposed to heal you no matter what, because what it does is rejuvenate the cells. It keeps them, because your cells are like a battery, okay? And when we hit, as humans, a healthy human, once we hit about 80, our cells, the life of our cells is like half battery no matter what. So they're not up to par. Then we're more susceptible to any type of disease, especially cancer at that late of age. You know what I mean? And this machine right here keeps your cells rejuvenated, keeps the battery full.
This is interesting because have you ever heard of like the Rife machine and stuff? The Rife, and then there's also binaural beats.
Yeah, I've heard of binaural beats, and it's funny because I come across this machine. I was just telling the people around me, because they know I'm real big into this stuff. They want to hear it, but they never do. They're like, "Oh, this guy again with this stuff." But I was telling them, because binaural beats, you know, they want you to wear the headphones. Oh, you get the best results with the headphones. And it doesn't seem to work for me.
It doesn't. I've had success with mine, because I guess it depends on what you were trying to treat. Because I'll have a stuffy, you know, where your head gets stuffy from a cold, and I use that one. Like, I would say within 10 minutes, that fucker's clear.
Now I did. So let me retract my statement. I don't think they fully work. Okay. But I did the headache one. I was trying to sleep. I had a migraine, and I did the headache one. And you're right. About 10 minutes in, I was like, damn, man, I ain't got no headache no more.
Oh, yeah.
But so, I mean, there might be an aspect to them working. Yeah, I don't totally, you know, just shove it to the side and say, no, it doesn't work. But that's what gave me the idea of having like a sound booth. You know how they have tanning beds? You lay in there, you get tan. Okay. Well, what if there's like a sound booth that you can lay in, and then you're having certain frequencies hit you? Okay. Of course, binaural beats is a frequency. Okay. There's two of them, and they're bombarding you, but it's just in your ears. Well, what if you had the force hitting your entire body? What would it do then? And then I come across this multiple wave oscillator, and that's pretty much what this machine is. I found it very interesting, and I'm like, man, this is what I need. So I'm a little upset that I didn't invent it, but I'm kind of excited that maybe I could bring it into market. Note to government, I'm coming for you.
But you put an inquiry in to buy one of these, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm waiting on the email. I probably already have it. Because honestly, I'm not. I have a friend who's in the business of home electronics, and he makes these home entertainment systems. So he could probably help me build one of these things if I got the specs. And from my research, I'm pretty sure I can find the specs online.
It just looks expensive looking at it. I just can't imagine what the price is. So what are these balls?
Right, where do you get those copper tubes?
Yeah, well, what are these balls? Just copper balls on the end?
I would imagine that's what it looks like. Or brass balls.
Brass
don't
balls.
Yeah. Come on now, Dan. Stay focused. All right, but anyways, yeah, because does your bracelet have those on there?
Balls?
Yeah, those balls at the end, because you said your bracelet's not connected.
No, but it's got this, like, I don't know if we can zoom in up. I'll do B-roll on it. It looks kind of like a microchip, and then I guess there's two on the left and the right in the middle here. Just like a line and then a ball.
Yeah, I don't fully understand why there's gaps in the rings. You know what I mean? I know there's a spark gap at top, but like why that certain position, that straight line right down the middle? And that's where I started getting into the sacred geometry. Like, what if you did like the 6-pointed star, like the Star of David? You know, or what if you did like a triangle or something? Yeah, that's cool. That shows like it's pretty much wireless energy right there.
Yeah, it's just kind of like one of those things that, you know, you put your hand on that ball and then it. I don't know
the
what the hell they're
electricity.
called. It's like it's got a glow rod or there or something. There's your, whatever the hell that thing was you were asking about.
Right, right. On different versions, that box right there that I didn't understand, those little silver things on that website, was just a spark gap. Like there were three balls in a triangle form, and it's like a mediation, so you aren't getting like the whole voltage through the system or something like that. I don't know. I don't fully understand it.
Huh.
But yeah, but why the line right down the middle? And why are the rings opposite? One's right side up, one's right side down. You know what I
The
mean?
two X's, you're referring to the line?
Yeah, the X's are just like yarn to keep the tubes together because none of the tubes are touching.
What are they
Yeah,
claiming that they heal with this?
Okay. So yeah, let's get into that a little bit. Georgy Slakovsky, he's the one that invented this. Okay. Now like I explained it a little bit with it goes down to the cellular structure. Basically, it rejuvenates your cells. Okay. So this guy did multiple experiments. He did it on animals, he did it on plants, and he did it on humans too, which I'll get into that later on with this story. And I really read up on the plants one, so I'll talk about that. He induced cancer into branches of these plants, different types of plants. I don't know which ones. Okay. And he would set them in between these two copper tubing circles. And for like he would do like 4 sessions of 10 minutes. And after 1 week, the cancer would reduce a little bit. Well, no, I'm sorry. Like after 1 week, the cancer would get bigger. And then 3 weeks, it would be like in full stage cancer, like the tumors would be real big. And then after that 3-week mark, and don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure if I'm quoting it correctly, but after a certain period, the cancer would start deteriorating, and then literally you could just flick it off with your finger and it would never grow back. And then the plant would even grow even bigger than a normal plant.
And the ones that had the cancer yet deteriorated and died.
Right, exactly. He did, he had a controlled environment where one had cancer and like 3 didn't or something. And yeah, every other one died, but the plant that he had treatment on with these oscillators. And he did it over and over and over. And not only did he do it over and over and over, like your bracelet, he made copper tubing where he integrated then with humans, but he put a copper tube around the plant and just set it outside and induced it with cancer, and it killed it off too, just by the regular cosmic rays that beam down on us continuously every day. It even said that we get cancer every day.
When you said he induced cancer, how did he do that?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I'm not.
Because you'd almost have to like interrupt the frequency, because that's all it is an imbalance of your cells. So if you interrupt the frequency of it,
okay,
it's got to be that's probably how he did it.
Well, yeah, he said that. Well, the research I was doing, I'm not going to say he said it, but the research that I was doing, it said that he was able to increase the voltage tremendously, yeah, and it would actually help the cancer grow. You know what I mean? It would do the opposite effect. So it could cure you, but it also could kill you too. So, but how he induced cancer on these plants, I don't know.
Maybe like how the government induces cancer on us. Shitty fluoride,
yeah,
GMO.
He even induced cancer with the rats too, and healed him from that. So from there, with his inventions with the copper tubing around the plant that he just set outside, and that he was able to heal it from the cosmic rays, he made an invention of a copper tube that you just wear around your neck or your waist or your wrist, kind of like you were talking about that you have, or your ankles, and it would help with chronic pain. So he started there, and he was like, I want to branch this out. This is something spectacular. It's going to help humans. It rejuvenates the cells on the inside so we can stay, I guess, fully energized. You know what I mean? So he looked for investors and he wasn't getting too many overseas. So he came over here to the United States, and he was in New York, and he found an investor, and they ended up putting it into, see, there's the copper ring around the plant right up there that he just said. And that, in the cosmic rays came down, it would actually cure the plant, and the rest would die off. So there's a lot of information you can find online with that.
It said,
but
I believe too, I was reading this, it said that they came in and took his equipment out of the hospitals, right?
Yeah, but that's what I was getting into. They actually introduced it into New York hospitals for like a test trial, and it was working. It was helping people with chronic pain, just some like kidney disease stuff, things like that. There's a lot of testimonies you can find online too, and in his books that he wrote. And so the word was spreading, right? And so this politician's son ended up, he had arthritis or something like that, or chronic pain in his back, and he went and got the treatment. And he told his father, who was a high-ranked politician, that, hey, this new stuff works. Well, the politician was skeptical of it, started doing some research on it, looking into it. And this politician told his son, this is just through my research what I heard. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but from what I was researching, the politician told his son, look, the pharmaceutical companies are trying to roll out, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're trying to take over with these pills nowadays that they got for everything, right?
Oh, it's big business.
So, yeah, big business. And this was interfering with big business, their plan. Because I mean, obviously this is before the plan was actually in full effect like it is now. And so they shut it down. They literally took it out of hospitals. Well, no, before they took it out of hospitals, let me explain. They killed the man. All right. They killed him. All right. Now, I don't remember exactly how he died or what they said how he died. But I mean, to me, they killed him. They killed him off. Then they took it out of the hospitals and they wiped clean almost everything but the testimonies in this gentleman's books. So you got Georgy Slakovsky, who created this machine and was going to change humankind for the better for years to come. He gets killed off, in my opinion. And then George Van Tassel reads up on this guy's work. Now, George Van Tassel, he was living in tents. He wasn't living in a home or anything. He owned an Air Force base later and stuff, but once he started this Integratron business and his UFO conventions, that's when he started progressing. But he was living in tents, so he needed money, and he had these ideas. Now, whether he made up the idea that he was visited from Venus, I don't know, but it drew a lot of attention and helped him out financially. But he also had a great idea, and he got his theory for this machine from Georgy Slakovsky. So, and of course, he had remarried, and it was his second wife that he was with when he was building this. And right before he went on for another interview, besides the one we saw earlier, he was in a hotel room, like all the conspiracy theories of people's deaths, in a hotel room, and he has a heart attack. Fully healthy man that's been testing this machine he's building that helps rejuvenate him. Fully healthy man, and then just suddenly dies, and then his work is erased from the face of the earth, except for the very little we can find here on the internet.
I like that. It was George Van Tassel had a second wife, correct? That's what you said?
Yes.
Remember when he says in the video, I haven't had an emotional upset except for women? I think he was talking about his first wife.
I've never had an emotional upset other than women.
They had problems back then with women too, believe it or not.
Except that night in Yucca Flats, and not Yucca Flats.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, there's even like his brother, I believe, said that he suspected his second wife because she was, I believe, in the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
There's something like that. And
when you watch this video, he seems like a real genuine guy. Like, I would love to have him as an uncle or something. It seems like he's down to earth, got his shit together.
Yeah, he definitely does. That's what I got from him too. He's not too professional. Like you can see, like his demeanor right there, he just switches over. Like, yeah, what you got from me? I'm gonna shut you down. So yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting, and I would love to get a couple people together. I looked on the Integratron.com, $250 you can rent it out for an hour, just to go there and look at it. I think it would be fascinating, you know.
Yeah, there's the rates. Two hour minimum and 250 per hour. So yeah, 250 times 2 because you got to pay for 2 hours. Don't you just love how they advertise stuff that way?
Right.
But I was reading up on the people doing meditation in there with these sound baths, and they say you come out and feeling like you've rejuvenated, you slept for a week, and that's only an hour being in there.
Right. Like I was saying earlier, like this, even though everything was stripped out of it, the electronics of it, it's supposed to still work in a way. And they're utilizing that with the sound baths. Because if you stand in the center, I watched this video, and it gives you a 360 degree stereo coming back at you.
Experience. Whoa. I feel like when I get to the middle, I have to put a hand down or something, because I feel like I could either get sucked up into space, or I could fall down or something.
So you know how they say words, well, of course words are vibrations, but you know how they say like negativity travels? Like if you're negative towards someone, then your negativity goes on to them, right?
Right.
Well, if you're singing or you're talking, you're getting that reverberated right back to you 360 degrees. So the gentleman that I was watching said you can feel the energy of your own words or whatever sounds are in there. So it works even without the components. And that's what I find very interesting, that they're still utilizing it in a way.
But isn't it kind of a shame that it's like we could be sitting on a time travel device, but then you got these hippies in there not getting anything done?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to kill them off. I don't wish death upon them, but you know, I wish I had the money to buy the thing off them. Tell you that much.
No, I meditate a lot myself too. I do at least 45 minutes every morning, but I'm just joking around. It's got to be. I would love to see what it's like in there, and that's in California. So I mean, I guess you'd have to take a trip.
Yeah, the Mojave Desert. Yeah, well, dude, I'm more power to you. 45 minutes in the morning. I think if I did that, I'd fall back asleep.
It's once you get to that last 15 minutes, that's when it's like everything just finally shuts off, because your brain is always trying to go. And once I hit that last 15 minutes, that's where you get the. Because I did a hypnosis, and my higher self, I'm going to talk about this later with another guest. My higher self said I need to do 45 minutes because I was only doing 15 minutes every morning.
Yeah, I was meditating today. I started getting, like I said, I went far down into the rabbit hole with this, and I came across 432 hertz frequency. They're saying that all instruments right now are in 440 hertz, and it's actually supposed to be in 432, and just that little bit of a difference, you know, is a super frequency or something for humans. I don't know, but I did a meditation on that, and I came out of it 3 hours later. I was like, holy shit! It just felt like 15 minutes, man. Wow. It felt like 15 minutes, and I was like, whoa, it was crazy.
You got this video? Maybe if I try it. Was it a video or was it just a?
Yeah, it was a video. It was on this lady's channel. It actually goes through all the chakras. So it goes from the bottom to the top at 432. So yeah, I'll send you the link for that so you can check it out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
And it's just nice, calming. It's great.
Huh.
But yeah, have you heard about the 432?
No, I know about different frequencies and stuff, because this kind of gets me thinking more about, you know, when you talk about time travel and teleportation, all they saying they're doing is the aliens are matching that frequency. So you're not traveling from here to here. It's you tune to that frequency and you're there. Yeah. That's where I lost train of thought about when we were talking about the Integratron now with the sound baths. Yeah, the certain frequencies. Yeah, what you're doing is you're vibrating into different dimensions. Right. That's what I believe. I don't believe you actually go into the past or you go into a future. You're going through different dimensions. Because to me, time's linear. You know what I mean? I don't believe you could travel to the past or the future. Oh, you don't think so?
Believe
you don't think you can go to the past?
No, I don't believe you can do past or future. I believe time's linear, and like we were just discussing, when you hit a certain vibration, you're just traveling through dimensions, different timelines. That's because when you hear traveling through time, that's what I think of. I don't think of going to the past. I don't know. Maybe though, you know what I mean? I just don't see how it would
how I
work
understood
if
it
you're
is
changing your vibration.
all these aliens say that our perception is linear, and that's all we can see. Because I guess if it's our perception, that's all we're going to see, obviously. But it's not like that for them. So that's kind of like where I heard about the Greys. That's why they came back and did what they did on the experiments, because they're supposed to be us from the future, where they can't reproduce, and you know they're all kind of single hive mind, and they came back to fix that. And then you hear other things that's just it's different the way we perceive it.
Right. Hey, I don't scratch it out. I mean, whether I believe in it or not, that's a different story. I don't scratch anything out. You know what I mean? It's a possibility. I mean, I believe like with the Egyptians and the Mayans and everything, I believe they came across this technology for certain frequencies, and they were able to travel. You know what I mean? Even space travel. Like, I believe there's people on the moon, and it could be very well civilizations that used to be right here on Earth.
Oh yeah. I believe, the moon, Mars, everywhere. There's even people, on Venus, and not in that dimension necessarily, but in different dimensions. So.
Different dimension, right? Like even though it's still closer to the sun or whatever, but it's not as hot and it's habitable. Exactly. Yeah, that's a whole nother interview right there. Hopefully, listeners find that interesting and it gets them thinking, and they do some research on their own and try to find out things, because we're in a change, man. The human race is going for a change for the better, and conversations like this is what opens people's minds. So thank you.
Before we sign off, I'm going to ask you one more question. Did you ever, like these last 2 months, did you feel lighter in a way?
Lighter?
Yeah, because
what do you mean lighter?
Like there was times that when I was sitting at work, it almost felt like I wasn't so dense. It almost felt like you could like fly across the room. I wasn't, but it's hard to explain.
In a sense, I feel more. I wouldn't use weight like lighter. I would say more awake. I feel like my thoughts are clearer. You know what I mean? I can see a lot more than 2 years ago or even a year ago. Like I'm able to perceive things in a way different way than what I was a year ago.
All right, with that being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk, and talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap.
Dan Holfeld signing off. Sharid.
Thanks, man. I really appreciated this. This was awesome.
And stay tuned, people. There's more out there.